This episode is brought to you by Triggered 22 LLC, a veteran-owned apparel company. By purchasing a t-shirt, hat, or hoodie from Triggered 22, you're not only supporting a small business, but you're bringing awareness to veteran PTSD and suicide. Please help save the lives of those who fought for our freedoms. Visit triggered22.com now and place your order. Let's help those suffering from invisible wounds.
I know what machines I should use. And he was like, Allison, are you gonna do this, or are you just gonna keep talking about it? And it was kind of rude, to be honest, Brandon.
Welcome to the American Grown Podcast, hosted by Austin Sullivan. The American Grown Podcast will focus on people from different walks of life and their journey to where they are now. Now, turn up your volume and settle in for a great episode.
Hi, I'm Austin Sullivan. This is the American Grown Podcast, recorded inside the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Today, we have Allison Yeager, Global Sales Development Manager and owner of GoldieLinks Permanent Jewelry. Allison, welcome to episode 47 of the American Grown Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you can make it in. Some of the topics we want to cover include, as you put it on the form to be on the podcast, side hustle, motherhood, and business, and the creation of GoldieLinks. Mm-hmm. Perfect. And also in the studio today, joining us is my beautiful wife, Courtney, to talk about her permanent jewelry experience with GoldieLinks.
Hi, thank you both for letting me tag along today.
Yeah.
Of course.
Awesome. Allison, let's start, before we dive into GoldieLinks and everything, let's get some of your history, your past, born and raised, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Millersburg, Pennsylvania. Everybody, so past guests on here have this crazy story. I guess that's the point of your podcast. But I don't have, I was telling my husband, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? Because my upbringing was just very traditional, mom and dad, older sister. I kind of always hung out in the middle of the crowd, nothing really stood out. So I kind of just laid low. My dad worked full time as a newspaper guy, photographer. He did a side business of trophies and awards. My mom, worked local for most of my childhood. So, we were all just very close knit.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing crazy. Went to Millersburg High School, graduated in 2008 there. And again, I keep coming back. I feel like it's a defense mechanism. I keep coming back to the fact that nothing ever, I always had an identity crisis. I feel like, nothing ever pulled me in one direction. So I just kind of hung out in the crowd, never stood out, but was always happy, nice, friendly,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was always looking cause people always knew who they were, what they wanted to do. And I was not that person. Yeah.
And Millersburg is just north of Duncannon?
You know what? Directions, you can ask anybody in my life, are not my strong suit. People tell me that I just tell people that you're 20 miles north of Harrisburg.
Okay.
Is what I think people tell me to say.
Somewhere up Route 15, somewhere up north
Upper
there.
Dauphin County.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. And activities in school, anything like that? Or
Growing up, I was very into basketball. Basketball took up a majority of my time. I did play softball too, but not on the high school level. That was very young. But I was in general pretty athletic. I did end up quitting halfway through high school of basketball because I think that it honestly ended up being too much for me. If you're pushed to do something more and more, the fun is sucked out of it.
Right.
So that was the point that I kind of dropped out of basketball, but also my husband, Brandon, had a little bit to do with it just because I was 16 and in love with him. So, I wanted to hang out with him. I didn't really care about basketball
Okay, so
anymore.
let's get some backstory. About your husband. When did you meet him? Yeah,
so he was the new kid, sophomore year, I believe. We met in an art class. So, since he was kind of the weird, shy, quiet kid. And I feel like I wasn't. Like I was very open
You're
to
outgoing.
speaking to
Yeah.
him. Yeah. We weren't, romantic for a little bit, but we had some like mutual friends from obviously being in such a small town. Like our class was 60 or 70 kids.
Oh, wow.
Like we all knew everybody.
Yeah.
So I was just getting to know him a little bit, and then things happened, and that we had our first kiss on my cousin's recliner watching, I can never remember what it was. It was like, it wasn't Step Up and it wasn't Drumline. It was something, Stomp the Yard. It might be Stomp the Yard.
That might have been, yeah.
Yeah. So we snuck her in there, and since then, we've been just lovebirds,
Yeah.
high school sweethearts.
You took
He's
words
the
out of
one.
my mouth.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
one. He's the one with the story. I always tell him because he's had an interesting, upbringing. Like he would be perfect for this podcast if he would own some sort of business. But yeah, it was very cool.
Gotcha. What was your plans for after high school?
Yeah, so I was very much so like, just get the work done. I had no interest in like the college partying stage.
Okay.
I didn't have any interest in leaving home. So at that time, my mom had actually started a role at Hack and part of like the enrollment team or something like that. So I got to go at a very heavy discount, if not free. I don't actually remember. So it was honestly like the path was set for me to go to Hack, and I did an associate's degree in marketing after changing my major a million times because identity crisis. Like I never knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I went into marketing and really liked that. And then after that, I transferred to Central Penn College and finished my bachelor's in business administration. It was always like, I feel like I just took business classes because it was a broad topic.
Yeah.
Like you really can go in whatever direction you want with it. So we rolled with that. I was a student worker in the president's office at Hack and the VP. So, I got to meet a lot of people and knew how to, carry myself professionally, and, wasn't afraid of titles because I did, you can't get higher than the president out of college.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what kind of got me into just being completely comfortable with whoever I was speaking with.
Your time at Hack, examples or things that really helped and you're using now in your business, your side hustle?
Yeah, so I think that it was just the general, honestly, it may have been just more awareness. Like I know I struggled with like accounting and like finance.
Yeah.
So like I knew going into what I'm doing now, like that I'm hiring somebody. Like I'm using, yes, like absolutely. Like I'm not doing anything with finance. That's not my cup of tea. I think if anything, it just kind of like brought awareness to like the things that I am interested in versus the things that I'm not. Back then, I don't really think that there were classes on social media, but I feel like marketing in general, like it really got me thinking about like, okay, this is cool how businesses put themselves out there, what they do. They get involved in communities. They, have nice websites, like just kind of the general basis of like, okay, people that know what they're doing behind the scenes too, and know how to, put their names out there.
How did you then move into a role as a global sales development manager, which is a mouthful?
Yeah. When I graduated from Central Penn with my bachelor's degree, I did do some marketing work within the insurance industry. And again, like ruled out that wasn't interesting to me. I saw an opening at Central Penn College on their admissions team. And I figured, I was familiar with the school. I knew what programs they offered. Like, why not? So I, tried it out. And obviously, like, they had their arms wide open for alumni to come work for them. So I started at Central Penn. And that was honestly, like, my most favorite job in the entire world. Still looking back on it, like, I loved doing it. I got to talk to, so many people. It was mostly with continuing education adults that, were in the workforce and then had to come back to, finish a degree or start one or, kind of at a crossroads in their life. So I got to get to know them a little bit and kind of explain, what programs we have. So that was really fun. And then one of the admissions counselors there had moved to American Express Global Business Travel. And she was I joke with her all the time that she's like my life mentor. It's not like we speak a ton, but she reached out to me and said like, hey, like this is where I came. There's an opening. It was actually in HR as a contractor. And at that point, she had told me, what the compensation was for that role. And I couldn't say no, no matter how much I loved my job. Yes, I just couldn't pass it up. So then I worked with her for about a year in HR. And then, there was some reorg going on. And, as a contractor, reorg means like you're probably getting the boot if,
Okay.
So I was trying to be a little proactive, and I saw that there was an inside sales rep opening there. I went for that, interviewed, which my mentor actually like helped me, get that interview
Yeah.
set up and stuff. Again, like it's just so funny how she kind of like has helped me through my career path. And so I got that inside sales role, and then that was kind of renamed as sales development. Like nothing really changed, but then I changed into a sales development rep. And I was there for a while. COVID hit.
Oh, yes.
The C
right.
word.
Yeah.
COVID
pandemic,
hit.
yeah.
Nobody's traveling. American Express Global Business Travel, it's the world's largest travel management company. You always think like, oh, travel's recession proof, blah, blah, blah. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, no, it's, it's not everything proof. So obviously people stopped traveling, and then a lot of people were laid off, lost their jobs. I was for 12 hours until my boss came back to me and was like, actually, we can keep you. So then at that point, obviously like the rest of my team was gone, and it was just me covering the UK, the US, and Canada, without really any choice in the matter. So I did that. And then once, there was some relief and people were traveling again, they gave me the responsibility of growing a global team back up again. So then that's when I kind of transitioned into the global sales development manager. So, I hire, I interview, I hire, I train, and then we sell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's a lot. That
Yeah,
is a lot going
yeah,
on.
uh-huh.
And what is your boss's name?
My boss's name now is Samantha. My boss's name that I had for quite some time was Betty. And both have been, it's really cool. Amex GBT, I think, really focuses too on like women in leadership. So it was really refreshing to have two,
Yeah.
back-to-back women leaders that really know how to enter a quote unquote room, because I've never been in an actual room with them. We're all very remote virtual.
Yeah.
But they get in there and they get stuff done. They're, assertive, and, they speak so eloquently. That's what I always say. Like, that's not me. I'm not an eloquent speaker. I know what I want to say in my brain, but then when I say it, it sounds like I'm not saying anything. Like, I'm like, that did not land. Like, I know that point that I was trying to make didn't land, but I'm learning from them. So it's really fun to kind of like evolve in a professional way alongside of them.
Shout out to Betty and Samantha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you sell what exactly?
I knew that was going to be a question.
Yeah.
Like, nobody in my life knows what I do. It's so funny. Like, all of my best friends are like, what even is your job? And I'm like, it's really hard to explain. So American Express GBT, like I said, is a travel management company. So they sell travel services to organizations. So it's an industry that I didn't even really know existed until I entered it. So obviously, like larger corporations that need to travel for certain conferences and things like that, typically larger corporations have a travel manager. So they're the ones that like handle the flight bookings, the hotels,
Oh, wow.
car, rail.
That's a
you
lot.
know,
A lot of behind the
So
scenes.
so I think that a TMC comes in and kind of helps the travel manager like keep their ducks in a line, maybe alleviate some of the stress for them. We have, it's not like a tracking system, but like we know what employees are traveling. So we have like a database, and if there's like a natural disaster or an accident or something, we can, let that corporation know like, hey, XYZ was scheduled to be on here. This is what happened. So it's like kind of peace of mind for the travelers too. So I think there's a little bit of everything. Obviously there's some savings involved. So like CFO, we talk to a lot of CFOs, we talk to a lot of HR people, controllers, finances, and things like that.
Gotcha. So as you're doing all this, now you raised a family, right? You have two children, I believe?
I do. Yep. I have Hamilton. He's almost 8, and Layla is almost 5. She actually has a birthday in a couple of days.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, they've really, I don't know, when you have kids, it change. It's so vague. Like, it's so stupid to say, like, it changes you, but it literally changes you, and like your personality and your outlook. It's been really fun to kind of like reset priorities through, work life, how you are as a person. Like, now you are being a person that you want someone to emulate. So you're like watching what you're doing, like, cause they're watching you. So you're more cognizant of all of that.
You got to watch what you say, how you interact
how you
with
treat people. Yes,
exactly. Courtney and I, we have Parker as our 1-year-old daughter.
Did she just have a birthday party? I feel like I saw something.
She
just
did.
last week. And we're now getting into the phase where it's like, she's gonna start repeating what you say. She's
Yep,
gonna.
love
So
that.
we're
Love
making
that for
that
us.
transition
Yes.
right now.
You have to do the old like elbow nudge if
Right,
if-
exactly. Yeah.
Hey, you can't say that anymore.
Yeah,
We had
right.
that conversation the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll stop.
Yep. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Hamilton's at the age where like if you let it slip, he just starts dying laughing. Like he thinks it's hilarious that adults say curse words sometimes.
Yes, it definitely it changes your perspective on
Yeah.
on life and your outlook on decisions and things around you for sure.
Yeah.
So with everything going on, why then start GoldieLinks, and how did that come about?
Yeah, so why start GoldieLinks? I'll start there. I don't want to say that my job doesn't fulfill me. It's very rewarding being a sales development manager, like teaching people, training them, being that person, that go-to person in the workplace. That's career fulfillment,
Yeah.
but not personal fulfillment, if that makes sense. So I was like, just looking, I was at a crossroads, like, what do I do? I lost like access to hobbies, with kids, like you completely lose yourself.
you do.
Not
You
in
do.
necessarily a bad way, but like you lose that part. So you're kind of trying to refigure out who you are. And I feel like this was just something I'm like, this is a hobby that could generate some income as well. So
Yeah.
I kind of rolled with it. And how the idea started, like I didn't invent permanent jewelry. Like that wasn't my idea. I wish it was. But I was actually just down a rabbit hole on Instagram. I am like admittedly so bad at just scrolling on my phone. And this actually gives me like a great excuse to scroll my phone now because it's for business.
Yeah.
Mom's working right now.
Right.
Like I'm just seeing what's out there. I need to
give me a
see,
minute.
I need
Yeah.
to find a trending reel right now. Okay. So it really just, I was stumbling. It was on like the Explore page on Instagram or
Okay.
something. And some girl in Utah, I saw permanent jewelry and I'm like, oh, this looks fun. Like I never wore jewelry before this because of clasps. Like once you take it off, like I will not remember to put it on. I have enough things to remember
Yeah.
in the morning. And a lot of the jewelry that you buy at stores are gold plated. So like it turns your skin green or it just ruins. It doesn't stay shiny.
Right.
So I honestly just wanted some permanent jewelry for myself. So I started searching, like, where can you get permanent jewelry in central Pennsylvania? I found a place in Pittsburgh that did only solid gold, which was above the price
Only
range.
solid
Like that
gold?
makes me nervous. Like I don't even offer solid gold because like it's not indestructible. Like if someone loses it, I don't want that to be on them that they just paid, $250 for
a couple
this
$100
chain.
bucks.
Yeah. So I definitely wasn't interested in making a road trip to Pittsburgh. So I just started messaging people. It was mostly who was doing it about a year and like a half ago. It was mostly people in the Western United States that was doing
Okay.
it, like Utah, California, Arizona. So I was just randomly messaging people like, how did you get into this? Like I wanted to ensure that it wasn't some sort of like chain business, like a
Okay.
direct sales business or
Yeah.
anything like that. I wanted to see if it was like, are these entrepreneurs? Like, are these like just sole proprietorships? So they had let me know, like, yeah, I just started on my own. This is like kind of the equipment they make that I use. And that's what I've found is kind of nice about this industry in general is like other permanent jewelry artists are not your competitors. So
Yeah.
they're very open to share information about like what equipment they use, what, trusted suppliers they use and things like that. So just kind of asking around and networking within the industry kind of like got me a lot of the answers on how to get started. And it was, I would say, probably a solid 5 to 6 weeks every day, me saying something to my husband, Brandon, about it. Like, I wonder if people in this area would even like it. And I'm like, well, I found out this, like, I know what machines I should use. And he was like, Allison, are you going to do this or are you just going to keep talking about it? And it was kind of rude, to be honest, Brandon, the way he said it.
Yeah.
Like, are you seriously like, just do it already then?
Yeah.
And I think that I was just so scared. Everybody has to start somewhere, but like me knowing my personality, like I knew I couldn't just have like a Post-it note of a price list. And like I didn't want to make it look like I was a lemonade stand, I wanted to
exactly.
have my ducks in a line. That's who I am. Like I need stuff in line before I like project it to everybody
Right.
else. And so I'm like, you know what, Brandon? Okay, you're right. I said, worst case scenario, I buy this really expensive machine and it's a lesson learned that it failed. You know what I mean? Like I'll
but you
learn
don't
something
know
along the way.
unless you
Exactly.
dive into it.
Yeah. So that's when I went on and I bought the machine that Shari is the girl that I spoke to in Utah, and she has like kind of like a permanent jewelry training-esque business going on. So she does help girls kind of start up a little bit. So I reached out to her, and she kind of got me started with just like general, like, what is argon? Like, use argon for the weld. And, you know, what's the difference between, I didn't really know the difference between gold plated, gold filled, solid gold, sterling silver, stainless steel. Like, I didn't know the differences. So she kind of helped me along the way. It was really helpful to have somebody just to like ask questions and know that they were there for your success. So we rolled with it. I got the equipment, and I got, you know, some high-tech, you know, price sheet stands and everything that I needed. And I had like a soft launch at the nail salon that I go to every 2 weeks at Heather's Haven. And she was very gracious to let me like enter her space and give it a whirl.
Give it a try.
Yeah. And
how did it go that first time?
I was very sweaty, nervous. I made Brandon come with me as my like security blanket, and he was, you know, he was there to help. He could tell obviously that I was nervous.
Yeah.
And it's hard too, because like when you start a business, you feel like you don't have the right to charge people. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I had all of the high quality stuff available, but you're like, oh my God, you feel like an imposter. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I did it anyway, you know, and people, you know, I should have known better. Like, it's a small town. Millersburg people are generally very friendly. Like, I was stumbling, I was sweating. It took me a long time. I was shaky. But we made it through, and it was fun. Like, looking back, it was fun. Like, in the moment, it was terrifying, but it went really well. Like, people responded really well. And you don't know, like, in a small town, it's like, are people going to understand? Is it going to be too trendy?
Oh, right. I see what
you
you're
know
saying.
what I mean? Like,
Yes.
is it even going to land
is it gonna
for
hit?
anybody?
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it really seemed to. And something that I didn't expect is that like a lot of moms brought in their daughters. And so that's like when it like made me warm and fuzzy, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like my Layla, you know, like you connect with these people. And there was this one story that the mom brought in her daughter. It was at my soft launch, and the mom brought in her daughter who was just starting preschool, and she was very nervous, and they both got matching sterling silver heart links.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, and now you'll be with me at preschool. And like,
Aww.
just like, oh my God, I just melted into a bottle. I'm like, this is like, so that gave it purpose to, like, it wasn't just like permanent jewelry, cool, like, you know, that's the moment that I'm like, you know what, this actually has some meaning behind it. I was just saying, it
puts meaning to it, right,
exactly.
to what you're doing, and it's making an impact.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. And that's what I wanted, because I don't know if you're going to ask me this anyway, but that's what I wanted, because I named GoldieLinks after my grandma.
That was my next question. How'd you come up with the name?
Yeah. So my grandma, Mima, her name was Goldie. Just kind of, you know, I was brainstorming. There's so many like play on words that you could, like eternal links, and you know, like there were things going back and forth, and I just had thought, I believe it was my idea. I don't know. I might have blacked out during this time, because I don't really know like if anybody approached me and said like, oh, you should do GoldieLinks, or it just came to me. But somehow in my brain, I heard GoldieLinks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's nice. You know, it has a ring to it.
Your Mima was talking to you.
Exactly.
There's no doubt.
Maybe we rolled with that, and it's just really nice to be able to incorporate her. She had passed away in December of 2020, and you know, like all of my core memories in my childhood involve her. We did all of our extended family, like my aunts and uncles and cousins, every single Wednesday night we went out to her house for dinner growing up. We called it Wednesday Night Supper Club. And like, what family does that? Like extended family. It was like Thanksgiving, literally every week.
That's
like
the best
it was,
time
yeah,
too.
it
Best
was,
time.
yes.
When everyone gets together. Yeah.
Yes. And you know, she loved it early on. She was the one that like prepared the dinners and stuff. And obviously as she aged and got less mobile, we would all like take turns to bring the food out there. But yeah, like, and we had the honor of being able to like pass that on to Hamilton and Layla too. Like we had moved to Harrisburg just for a couple of years, and then we had moved back obviously to Millersburg. But during that, you know, during the time that we lived in Harrisburg, we still drove to Wednesday Night Supper Club. Like it was, you could not miss it. You know, it's just a really nice thing, like in her memory, to be able to do. And then just to know too, that like people are making connections of like the meaning of permanent jewelry. Like it can symbolize a bond that you have with somebody. It can, there was a story too. Should I tell you a story that touched me too? There was a girl that reached out to me and said like, listen, my grandma had a heart attack a little while back. went into heart failure, was given 6 months to live on hospice. And she said that, they were blessed with 2 years. At this point, it's been 2 years now. Like, she was still around.
Yeah.
And she was like, I would love to make it to a pop-up. And they came to a pop-up, this, sweet grandma and her granddaughter, grandson, and the mom. So grandmother, mom, 3 generations.
Yeah. 3, yep.
And they all got matching bracelets. And I have a reel of it on my Instagram because it like touched me so much. But it was so cool because I felt like too, like Mima was in the room during that time because, it was a grandma and stuff like that. So that was awesome. So
that's a really neat story.
Yeah, of course you can just get GoldieLinks as a fashion and, it's pretty and whatever else and practical. But those are the stories that like you remember and you feel like, okay, they're out there wearing them today. And when they look down, they think of each other.
They think of their loved ones.
Yeah, it's very cool.
My grandmother would do a similar thing. It was always around the holidays and even throughout, but you'd always go there and all the family members would come and they'd make chicken on the grill and all kinds of stuff. And that's really neat that you're able to make that kind of impact on others and give them something to remember their loved ones by.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this all started with just kind of going down a rabbit hole on social media, on Instagram. Yeah. And now I would say you've put permanent jewelry on the map. I don't know anyone doing it as big or as much as you are. And Courtney, you're more into this than I mean, you know more about it than I do, I should say. I'm kind of new to it, but I don't know of anybody else locally.
No, because I originally saw it kind of the same way that there were actual storefronts in like New York City, like major places, nothing around here that was doing it. And I always thought it was a cool idea, but it's like, it's never going to come here. And then I started seeing your events on Facebook and social media through like mutual people that we know and everything. And it took about 2 or 3 pop-ups till I could actually go to one. And I was like, we have this one this day. My best friend and I, Megan, went together. Our husbands watched our daughters. It was like,
nice.
You two.
Good job. Thanks.
You are doing daddy daycare. We are doing this. And now we don't have matching, but it's
still, you did it together. It's an experience.
We've talked about best friend tattoos for years and I'm a wimp. I'm never going to do that.
That is exactly, I could not ever decide on a tattoo that I wouldn't regret a year from now. Well, like, what do you get that you won't not want in 10 years,
right.
And I can't get a flu shot without freaking out. So I'm
yours
not
is more of like the pain. Mine's more of the commitment.
I would like to think we had an idea that I could live with, but it's the same way. But so then this is our version of that, since I will never man up and get the tattoo that she's always in the back of my in my ear telling me we should get.
When I remember you and Megan, right, we're gonna go get this permanent jewelry, and I'm like, okay, well, I like that more than the tattoo because the tattoo's in your body. Yeah. You can't get rid of it.
And I had talked about this for a while. Like, I want to go, but I can't. I want to go. And you were just like, okay, yeah. Then, like, just go get it. And then afterwards, you were like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. I thought it was very cool. And I'm like, because at first I'm like, wait, well, why the permanent jewelry? Because you can go get a bracelet or necklace or anklet, right, with a clasp, but then like you said, you lose it, you forget to put it back on.
Yeah.
Well, you always, your big thing was, why are you doing that? Because I've gotten you so many things and you don't wear them.
Come on, man.
And it's exactly what you were talking about earlier with the clasp.
Where are they, right? It's like you lose them.
I don't know where they are, but it's the same thing. You wake up in the morning, and I'm lucky half the time, especially chasing after Parker, who wakes up at like 5:30 in the morning to put my wedding rings on. So it's like, this way, it's here, and I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. This is a perfect segue as to what are some of the benefits of permanent jewelry, and you can both speak on it.
I remember when I was like creating my marketing material and like my highlights on my Instagram, like insert really dramatic infomercial here. Like in my mind, I'm like picturing like this old lady like trying to finagle a clasp and like like I have a solution for that. Like dun dun dun.
Yeah.
So that's like honestly the biggest appeal for me personally. Like if you ever try to put a bracelet on yourself, forget it. Like you're not doing it. Necklaces are okay. You have both hands, like fine, and anklets fine. But like no, like you're trying to squeeze it.
We've all been there.
It's ridiculous. So just give up.
Yeah.
And then not to mention too, like a clasped bracelet isn't custom fitted. Like a lot of people have tiny wrists or larger wrists, and they're like, I can never find even rings. Like I make chains into rings too. They're like, I can never find, I don't know what size I am, whatever. So it's really nice just to be like, it's a very personal experience. Like, okay, this bracelet fits me and it fits me only. And then just, I would say, the quality of it, when you can go to a high-end jewelry store and get excellent quality. But, if you're just into like costume jewelry and you're not looking to spend a lot of money, this is a great option. Like I have gold filled, which is, like I said before, like gold plated is what you typically find in like your standard retail stores, which end up, tarnishing or flaking or turning your skin green or has, an unknown metal underneath it. And gold filled has a thicker layer. So it's still affordable because it's not solid gold, but it has a much thicker layer of gold. So it acts as solid gold.
And
so
I was gonna say, is that what all your jewelry is then?
Yes. So that's what all of my jewelry is. And that's why it was so important to like research and ask other permanent jewelry artists, what suppliers they use, because they're, especially now that permanent jewelry is like an actual thing across the country. Like there's so many, people claiming that like, this is gold filled. Like, how are you supposed to know? Like there really isn't. I'm sure there's tests that you can like, I don't know, drop some sort of chemical on it and see a reaction. But like, I'd rather not have to do that. I'd rather just go to a trusted supplier.
Yep, exactly.
So I think that a lot of people would end up taking shortcuts or just, take a word from a shop on Etsy that, I have gold filled and it's not. So, I think that that's definitely a benefit to like doing your research. And I have done that versus maybe other people may not have, and take, people's words for it.
To many of the listeners, this may seem like more of a female fashion, but is this accessory also for the men out there?
It is indeed. So there have been a lot of times where a man and a woman come together, and I don't necessarily think that it was the man's idea to do it. But there are definitely men that are on board for it and get matching pieces if the girl chooses something a little more masculine, or they just get a bracelet together. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be matching, like you and your friend. But yeah, there have been a lot of instances where, friends, male friends and female friends, or romantic people get jewelry together. And like I said, that one grandson came with his grandma to get a matching bracelet with her too. Yeah, it's for everybody, man. That's old.
Yeah, way of thinking about it. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of neat. Like you have your setup here on the table for the listeners. We'll put a picture up on Facebook, American Grown Podcast, Facebook and Instagram. But it's like, it's legit. Like,
it is legit.
This is not some kind of
Yes, I never thought I would be a welder. That is for sure. Yeah. It's an arc welder. And so there's like this little like stylus that I have, and it has an electrode coming out. I don't know the total science. Like I don't want to sound like a dummy, but I do know the basics. So like I have the stylus with like the electrode coming out, and the machine is hooked up to a grounding clip, which is necessary for the weld. And then there's a tube that goes to an argon tank. And right before the weld happens, there's a puff of argon that comes out to keep the oxygen away. To then make like a clean weld. So, and then you see the spark and everyone, like fireworks, and then you're set. I mean, you're set for life. There's some misfires sometimes, and sometimes you get two sparks, but yeah, it's very cool. I didn't know a pet peeve of mine too. Is people say that they're soldered. It is not soldering. It is welded. The soldering, you add stuff to the metals, and welding is like melting it. So just so everybody knows, not to say I got a soldered bracelet from GoldieLinks.
It's welded. It's welded on there, professionally done.
Yes.
So, and before we started recording, Courtney, what did you just get? You just got a second bracelet.
Yes. So I just got the green multi enamel. I've been oogling it on her social media for months.
I have that
now.
one too, mixed into my 10 bracelet stack there.
Well, and for me personally, I'm not a mixed metal kind of person. So having this, and I like it, and I love it. I was so excited when Austin was like, "Do you want to come with?" I was like, "Yes, I do." Especially after you said, spoiler alert, that you were gonna get one too.
Yeah. I'm gonna get one here live on the podcast. Can we jump right into that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because I did take off like 2 wristbands, and I kind of feel naked here.
You feel naked. Well, we don't want that. Should I just push this thing?
Yeah, we can just slide that back, and then Courtney and I can do some like live commentary.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. No pressure.
Yeah. Well, at least you've already now, you kind of got exposed to it with the spark and everything, like she said, because you
Yes.
did jump a little bit when I got mine.
I did. It surprised me. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's very professional looking, the whole setup and everything.
I told you, I said, like, she welds this. It's a,
Yeah.
like, it's a thing.
It is. All right, so it's a gold chain. I'm going to put on my right
It's
wrist.
called a curb link.
A curb link?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
a curb link chain.
Now we are putting
We're putting the jump ring together. And I'm gonna let it free for a second, and you can tell me, like, I usually, as long as I can stick a finger under there, like,
Works for
it's
me.
free
Yeah,
flowing.
it feels good.
You know, it's not
Yeah.
too tight, not too loose.
Looks good. I'm going to be,
So then-
yes.
Well, and I thought that the movement of it would be weird.
Yeah.
And at first, it's like a little bit of adjustment if you're not used to wearing things like, especially when you sleep or different things like that, but they're super light. And now I like just bounce my wrist back and forth because I like the movement.
it
And
feels and
because
looks,
it's not
yeah.
cutting anything off, there's no lines. Like the
Okay,
fit
wait, hold
is
on.
perfect.
What are we doing now?
So I made sure that the jump ring edges are like touching each other.
Okay.
Because if they're not, it can do like a misfire because they're like there needs to be touching.
Gotcha.
Don't make me get scientific here.
No, we're good. So I just don't move.
So then I'm attaching the jump ring to it,
Okay.
and then it is ready
Here comes the spark,
to be
everybody.
welded. So you'll
not gonna
feel a
look.
puff of air, and then it will be
Oh, wow.
welded. But you see what happened? I had like a misfire, just like I said.
Did you? I'm
Yep.
sorry. Was it because of me?
Yes.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
that was
It's not
great.
because of-
Savage. I love it. Yes.
No, not because of you.
Okay.
So with the curb link, it's a little thicker. So this is the one that I have
Told
the
you it's my
most.
thick wrist. That's what it is.
The most misfires is with this one because I
Oh.
feel like the grounding clip doesn't fully.
Okay.
But we just do it again and then hope for the best.
Wow. That is just like the eye puffer machine.
That's what
Yes.
it sounds like.
Yeah,
Yes.
it sounds just like it. The puff
Yep.
of air for everyone listening. The argon.
There you
Whoa.
are, sir.
Very cool. Oh, thank you
It
so
looks
much.
so good.
You're
It
welcome.
does. I don't know if I ever really wore like a chain bracelet or anything like
You
that.
used to like a necklace with your pretzel
Necklace, yeah,
for
yeah,
your
but-
grandpa, but yeah, never.
Whoa.
You're gonna feel weird now for a
I
little
am
bit.
gonna feel weird.
You're
and
a
it's-
whole new man. Holy
yeah.
cow! Look
Whoa.
at
It'll be
you.
Look at me, high roller.
How women flash their engagement rings. You'll just be
Yes.
like,
Oh my gosh, it's
like
GoldieLinks.
subtly.
GoldieLinks,
I
check
would
her
say
out on
running your
Instagram.
hands through your hair, but you could do your beard.
Yeah, I could do this or something. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It
Oh,
is so
wow.
funny though to see because again, Millersburg is such a small town and I swear like the entire town of Millersburg now has GoldieLinks.
Yeah.
So like I'm at the grocery store and I like see girls shopping. I'm like, oh my God. It's cool to know that like, hey, I put that
You
on
did
that.
that. Yeah.
It's very cool.
And they're still rocking it and still wearing it. That's
Yes.
so cool.
Yep. And
well,
we joke
thank
around.
you.
You're
That is
welcome.
neat.
You're
Wow.
welcome.
Yeah.
We joke around that nobody knows my name too. Like they're always like, hey, you're GoldieLinks.
It's called
And I think
Goldie?
yeah, like
Goldie?
yeah,
GoldieLinks?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny that I'm recognized now too because like I am very present on Instagram.
Yes.
Which is just something that keeps it fun. Like again, like I chose this as a hobby, not necessarily as like a way to feed my family. Like of course it helps. Like now we can have some special dinners, but it was really just fun. And I feel like if it would be, you know, people always ask me like, do you want to do this full time? Like, is that your goal? You know, and I don't think so at this point. I don't think so because I think that is why it's fun. Like there's no pressure for it to succeed.
Right.
Like
You don't have to sell so many or do so many events
exactly.
and shows.
Yeah. I can honestly have fun with it. I can, you know, do Instagram and do these stupid like trending reels, like just make an idiot of yourself, but have fun.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think that it makes you very relatable and people want to come to you. Like you're not just
yeah.
some,
You're killing
you
it.
know,
You're doing
people
real
don't,
well.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I agree.
And
It's
not-
craziness.
and it's no stress. You're not putting any stress on yourself,
No,
you know, and I think
no.
that comes across real well
Yeah.
on all your social medias, but definitely on Instagram. And like I said,
Yeah.
I feel like you put permanent jewelry on the map, at least here in PA, and maybe
Yeah.
even the East Coast. I don't know.
And it's very cool too, because like at the very beginning, like people were asking me, what is permanent jewelry? Like, is it embedded in your skin? Like,
Ooh,
you
yeah.
know, like very, very scared people coming up to me. I'm like, no, it's not that serious. Like I tell people all the time, it's not that serious. Like if you hate it, cut it off. And you know, a bracelet is $40. Like that's how much you pay to get your nails done. And you take
Yeah.
that color off in 2 weeks. Like, you know what I mean? Like it
Right.
perspective a little bit, you know, it's been so fun. So
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
I just got my official GoldieLinks gold bracelet on, And if you're on the fence, guys or girls, whoever, about going to an event and looking up GoldieLinks, highly recommend it. There's no pain, even though there is like a flash and a spark. So there's a flash, but it was actually a lot of fun. And I'll probably soon have a stack, which...
That's right. My husband calls me Mr. T sometimes because I keep asking to add, because he's the one that puts on the bracelets and he's like, oh, cool, another one.
So let me ask you this. What are, because I see them on your Instagram a lot, stacks. What are they to you? And can you get like stacks on your ankle?
Yeah,
On your-
so
on your ring?
that's
Yeah.
the fun of it. Like for women in general, like we love to customize. We love to like make things our own. And yeah, there's a girl, actually, Lauren from Larcuterie. She's a small charcuterie lady. My Layla knows her as Salami Girl. Whenever we have a charcuterie board at home, they're like, "Oh, Salami Girl." I'm like, "Yeah."
That's great.
But she actually has a really nice ankle stack. She was, I think, the first one that I did with more than two. Like I'm pretty sure she has 3 or 4. And
wow,
it looks
okay.
really good. Like you would think that it might look like overkill, but it looks really pretty when you're a little strategic about it. There's a couple girls that are very loyal to me that has, 10 to 15 bracelets on their wrist. Like they just show up at every
That's a stack.
event. Yeah, they're just like family at this point. They're like,
Yeah.
yep, it's me again. Like, sorry, can't cut. It's addictive. In the best way though. Like once you get one, you're like, you know what? Like it would look cute if you got another one, and then you find yourself, I mean, obviously I have the access to it and I am testing, I call it quality control.
Oh, you have to.
I have to wear what I'm selling, but yeah, you can get rings. I've had women get 2 or 3 rings in a stack. I've had a girl add to her, like wedding stack. There was a woman that got like a blue enamel ring made in honor of her late husband.
Oh, wow.
Because she had recently, I guess, taken off her wedding band and it just didn't like sit well with her, understandably.
Oh, for sure.
So we got like the blue. I think he liked the ocean and stuff, so she kind of like made that association. Yeah, a ton of bracelets, necklaces. I have 2 necklaces and I think I want more. Like it's just like you only have so many limbs, but you can add as many as you want to each one. Yeah.
You can stack them. So
Yeah.
that segues into my next question is what other options are there other than bracelets? So we talked about anklets. You do the rings on any finger, pinky
Yes,
ring,
any
thumbs,
finger.
Bracelets, and then also necklaces too.
Yes, I do necklaces as well, which also has, some meaning. Like there's people that have existing jewelry from like a loved one or a past loved one that they want permanently attached to them. Like there's a girl that has
Whoa.
a charm with like her dad's fingerprint on it. And she's like, I'm just so worried that it's going to come off,
Yeah.
which that does give me, like, it does make me a little sweaty just knowing that that's like the pressure of like, okay, you better make a good weld on this. Like,
Right.
so pay extra close attention to this. But like she has a couple necklaces now, including that one charm. There's a woman whose bracelet broke from her father who had passed away that she's like, it's broken. Like, can you fix it? So like, I also repair jewelry apparently now, as long as I can get a jump ring through, like I can connect any chain to you. And then in the summertime, I did actually have a girl, which it's very rare for this area, but I have seen it in like the hot states, a belly chain. So a girl got a
didn't think
chain
about
around
that.
her
Yeah,
belly.
yeah.
And that was, really pretty too. So like, if you can wrap a chain around it, I can put it on.
You can weld it on.
Yeah.
You can weld it on there. Yeah. So without having a brick and mortar location,
Yeah.
how can people get a piece of your jewelry?
Yep. So on my Instagram and my Facebook, I always announce where I'll be. I try to, at the beginning, I was reaching out to businesses and now I'm lucky enough to have businesses reaching out to me, which is very cool. And
Yeah.
I'm like honored that people
That's
think
what you
of
want.
me.
Yeah. Says a lot.
So yeah, I think a lot of popular businesses that I go to are like cafes or garden centers. And, I was trying to stick like in the Millersburg area, obviously, because I didn't really want to travel that much, but I do travel up to, like an hour or so, for the right event. And it's been, really fun. It's fun because I have a following. I feel like I have a following in each, like where I go, I kind of expect a couple people, a couple of my like repeat customers. But yeah, I always have it posted at the top of at least on my Instagram page where you can pin the posts. I always have the month schedule so you can kind of plan ahead. And then Facebook, I'm reminding everybody a million times. So you won't miss me. If you want to find me, you won't miss me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And who are some of the mentors that have kind of helped you out along this journey?
Yeah, so I think the main permanent jewelry specifically is Shari. Her name is Shari, and she is based out of Utah, and she has like a permanent jewelry like training thing going on, and she also has her own permanent jewelry business. So she really gets it, and she's been very friendly, very welcoming and encouraging. Like, you know, you always see her commenting on my posts and stuff like that. So it's very nice. Again, like I mentioned before, we aren't competitors because we're far away. So like we genuine willingness to help people out. Like if someone has a chain that I would really like, I'm, you know, it's not insulting for me to reach out to them and be like, hey, what site or what supplier did you get that chain from? And then obviously, like if it's one that you never heard of, you got to do a little research to make sure that you want to provide it. But it's just really nice. And then just general networking within the permanent jewelry industry. There was the first ever permanent jewelry expo in Las Vegas this past year in May. I couldn't go. There was kids, man.
You
kids.
couldn't go. Oh.
But there's going to be another one this coming year. So I do have it in my calendar.
Okay.
So I may end up doing that just because like you can't not.
So you kind of have to go.
Yeah, right.
You do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've never been to Vegas either. So it's like a perfect excuse to make it
That'll be
work
fun.
and fun. Yeah. So hoping that I can get my husband on board too, because I don't want to go alone. I'm not, despite working for a travel management company, my dirty little secret, I don't like to travel. Like I am a homebody.
Really?
Yes. Mostly if I could like snap my fingers and be in a different place, I would love to travel.
Yeah.
It's the like act of traveling that like stresses me out, and like floating in an airplane somewhere. Like I can't trust an airplane. I have in the past trusted an airplane, but I don't like to. So I am very much a homebody. And again, this is like an industry where you don't have to travel. You can drive, which I know things can happen in driving too. It's not lost on me. I have anxiety about everything, but
Yeah.
I can tell people where I want to travel, how far I'm willing to go. And I really thought too that I would do a lot more private events, like smaller, like girls' nights. Like I remember making starting my Instagram and making these like highlights, like what I'll be offering. And I remember putting like girls' night, like I was thinking that I would go and, hook up, 6 girls and go home. And it's like, now it's just not worth it to set up, tear down. Most places don't have a platform, like your nice little setup here.
Well,
so I have to lug in my table and all of my chairs,
I didn't think about that.
like
You
it
have to
is
bring...
a lot. Yeah. It's
That's
a lot of work. So a lot of people have been asking me like, do you do private events? And my answer is always like, well, like there's a minimum, you know? So I recently did this large bridal shower that was really fun because they got the blue enamel and the bride got it as her something blue.
Oh,
and
very
then
cool.
all of her guests got, the blue to kind of like match her. And it was, I feel like
That's
the blue
awesome.
was in the title of like the theme of the bridal shower too. And that was super successful. So like now I'm kind of trying to delve into that. Like, maybe I can kind of like make that something, because that's fun. And, people are there mingling, because in public events, sometimes the line gets so long. I was telling you, I just had my 1-year GoldieLinks birthday party, and that line was insane. I felt so bad that people were waiting so long, but in like smaller events, it's not as much pressure. Like people aren't just like watching you. They can go mingle and like talk to people that they know. That was a blast. And speaking of my birthday party, there were so many other small businesses there, and it's like when you start, I never knew, but when you start a small business in this area, like you find your people. Like there's like a circle of small businesses, and there's like connections to every one of them. Like, oh, Paul Meyer Greenhouse, Jessica was on the show, and I see her everywhere now. Like we do some similar vendor events, and
it's such a small world.
It is.
I'm pretty sure, was it I Am Erica? Do you ever
Yes, I love her.
Yeah, with Erica?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. My kids were actually her models on her website for the kids'
again,
t-shirts.
Such a small world.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's been like so fun to meet people, and being high school sweethearts with Brandon, like I was always, this is nothing against him, but I was always like just hanging out with his friends. Like I never really had, I have a couple friends of mine, but like a lot of my friends now are just his friends, and this has really given me like an opportunity to make small business friends, and like they know like the struggle, the juggle, like what goes into it, what's annoying, like you can bounce ideas off of each other, and they're just like genuinely supportive. And that's, for some reason I thought that like I don't want to say I thought business owners were like for themselves, but I think that can be portrayed sometimes that like they're just worried about their own success and not necessarily like collaborating with others. But collaboration is like where it's at right
it's
now.
key.
Like,
You have to.
everybody
Yeah.
is like collaborating, and it's so fun, especially for like giveaways and stuff on Instagram to like build your following and like spread the word. It's been awesome.
Yeah, in order to grow, I think collaboration is key, and it's
Yes.
you can no longer be a business owner that just, like you said, is out for themselves.
Yep.
You have to work with others and diversify.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so neat, such a small world.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the people that we kind of know through social media, and then like us getting to meet you here tonight.
Cleona
is
Roasters. He's coming to,
Is he?
yes.
Matt,
so
yeah.
yes, he's coming to we're having a big Christmas market. So since GoldieLinks birthday party was so successful, there were a lot of people that approached me and was like, you should do a Christmas event. Like, this would be awesome. Like, I love all the vendors that you have. And we're like, well, heck. So Pop Party Box, there's a girl, Jessica at Pop Party Box. She does like party decor, offers everything. So she's out of Millersburg, where I'm from too.
Okay.
And she helped, like, without her, my party would have been nothing. Like, I'm not a party planner. And so we are back at it again, and we're going to have a small business, like, Christmas market. Santa's coming December 3rd in Millersburg as well. And Matt's going to be there with his coffee.
Nice.
Yeah, there's so many cool people.
I think he's
that are gonna
doing
be
some kind
there.
of special blend for Christmas too. When he was on the podcast, I think
yeah.
he was talking about that. Did you say something to Jessica with Rosie? With Allison?
Yes,
'Cause
yes.
she
I
is
am not
big into
positive.
Christmas.
Yes, I feel like she already had like an event or something. I'm not
Okay.
positive. Yeah.
Okay.
But we reached out to everybody. Like Erica had a party too that she couldn't make it. But there's so many. Taylor Chip Cookie. Did you ever hear of Taylor Chip Cookies?
Yes. Why is that?
They're
Was that
going
in
to be
Lancaster?
there because they're
Or
the
Lancaster.
best cookies
Yeah.
in the entire universe.
I've reached out to them on Instagram. I'm trying to get them on the pod, so we'll see
Ooh,
what happens.
Doug and Sarah.
Yeah.
Maybe I can make a little
Oh,
little
please,
connection
please,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, they're great. I had a pop-up in their location on the Manheim Pike. I did
Okay.
a Midnight Madness. They had like a luau midnight, like 9 to 12. I think that was the first time I stayed up until midnight
In a
like,
long time,
yeah,
right?
like
Oh, yeah.
7 years
We're parents,
easily.
too. We
Yeah.
know what you're
oh
talking
my God.
about. Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to take, like, I took off work early to have like a nap beforehand. I'm like, I need to be on my A game. But yeah, they showed up, and it was such a fun time. So yeah, like Taylor Chip's going to be there. There's going to be like so many good ones. The lobster truck was at my party. Cousin's Main Lobster Truck.
Okay. I love
I'm so
lobster,
excited. Yeah. So you guys, if you're free December 3rd on Sunday, you guys should come check
Definitely.
it out.
My dad listens to this religiously, so he can plan to have Parker that day, so we
He
can
does.
go.
Great. Put it on your
Shout
calendar,
out to
Grandpa.
Johnny G. Yeah, we could
So him and my mom can plan to babysit that day,
Yes.
because that sounds awesome.
greatly
Yeah.
appreciate that, Johnny. Greatly appreciate that. Yeah. So, Allison, what would you say you're most passionate about?
You know, being a mom, honestly, at this point in my life, everything that I do revolves around my kids and their happiness, and it's, you know, they're what motivates me too. And that's kind of like what I was saying before, like your perspective changes, and you know they're watching you, and like I feel it's so easy to feel guilty, like, you know, they're at home right now, and you feel guilty for like leaving them, but at the end of the day, like I always have to remind myself, like, they're watching you do what you love to do, finding, you know, extra income so we can do more fun things. And, you know, I'm also very passionate about like community, like a sense of community. And again, having this as a side hustle and not depending on it solely, it has given me the opportunity to like participate in fundraisers. Like I donated to breast cancer, cocoa packs for kids and out of Hershey.
Okay.
I've done a local fundraiser for a woman that's struggling with, you know, a brain tumor in our area, and sponsoring sports teams. Like Layla's on GoldieLinks permanent jewelry soccer team, even though they made a specific rule that kids cannot wear permanent jewelry. Like it was apparently I got a shout out at a board meeting that was like, no permanent jewelry. So like, it's so funny. So I had to put clasps on Layla's. Well, we removed most of hers, and then I added a clasp on some of her pieces. But it's like stuff like that. Like my dad was a sports photographer in the area, always did like high school pictures and, you know, put it in the newspaper and things like that. So like everybody always knew him, like, oh, Lon, you're Lon's daughter, like everybody knew who I was because of him. And I joke now because when he's with me, they're like, oh, you're GoldieLinks' dad, like I'm like, oh, how the tables have turned. Yes. But like, just, I feel like it's always been like ingrained in me, like you're nothing without a community of people around you. And it's been really fun, like rekindling acquaintances and friendships in the area as well. So it's been a wild ride. It's been fun to be involved with a lot of different stuff and fundraisers and raffles and donations and stuff. So
your kids, they get to see you meet new people, connecting, networking, but then also they see like you have your day job, but this is your creative outlet, really.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And I saw something on Instagram too. I think I just recently shared it on my stories, but it was like, be a mom that your kids want to brag about. And that's kind of like what makes me like think about everything that I do, specifically with GoldieLinks too. But like in general, they're watching you and I want them to think that I'm cool. So I'm going to do my damnedest to be cool.
To tell their friends, that's my mom.
Exactly.
That's my mom.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and some of the items you brought with, we talked about.
Yeah.
But for people that might be new to GoldieLinks or permanent jewelry, what are some of the different like color options and things? So I know you have the bag.
Yeah. So I recently like exploded my options of enamel colored chains, particularly because I saw the trend of women coming in with their young daughters and like the daughters, oh, I want pink. Do you have this? My favorite color is purple. I'm like, oh, no. And then, so I started expanding that. So the enamel options have expanded. And then I got like the multi ones like Courtney has. Courtney, right? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I'm so bad with names. Yes.
Oh, no.
You nailed it.
You
nailed it.
Oh my God. So like the multi ones, I feel like are a little bit more like mature. So like they go really well with the silvers and the golds and stuff too. So I also offer sterling silver options. I try not to keep, so the one that you have is 3 millimeters thick. And I try not to go above that just for safety reasons. Like if you, like, I know that there are some businesses that offer like thicker chains. It just makes me personally a little nervous to have a thick chain with a welded jump ring. Like if it would get caught in something, like I want it to break. I would rather your bracelet break than your hand break.
Right. Yeah. Or your wrist.
Exactly. So that's like 3 millimeters. And then I go down to, I believe my like most dainty chain is 1.5 millimeters, which is, I don't know, on here, like really tiny right there.
Oh, I see.
But it's fun. Like it's fun to differentiate like the different sizes. So and then I offer gold filled, which is what you have, which again is just, a thicker, it's just like an affordable version of solid gold. Like it's definitely not solid gold. There's a metal underneath it, but it's a thicker layer of gold over top. So
it's not affordable. Like I'm going to jump in the shower tomorrow and it's going to be green. And
no,
like you're
if
saying.
It is, come find me. Like, 'cause I have some issues with that.
Okay. With the supplier. Right.
Right.
But no.
But so, and I usually offer around 30. I do have rose gold filled as well.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people, that was by popular request. A lot of people, they don't like gold. They don't like silver, but they love rose gold. So I got some rose gold too. So I usually have about 30 chains as an option. I'm probably around 35 to 40 right now, but I phase out. Like I don't always have the same chains. And that's why I tell people too, like, if you like it, like get it now because
might not be here next time.
Because suppliers, I mean, since COVID too, like you never know when something's going out of stock and when if it's coming back, when it's coming back. So there are still like logistical issues, I think, with like restocks and stuff. So I always say, if you like something, please just get it now because like I can't promise you, like I don't want you to be sad next time. So
I was just thinking with the rose gold, iPhones come out every September. I'm a big Apple nerd, and rose gold is one of their phone colors. So get permanent jewelry from GoldieLinks to match your iPhone.
Exactly.
Megan's is rose gold.
Is it?
Is it? Nice. Okay. There you go.
Rose gold hearts.
Oh,
shout out to Megan and
Dylan. That is a very popular chain. The Heart Link chain is extremely popular. It's one of our most popular. I think just because it like hearts, like they're cute. Like
you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. So now, how can our listeners connect with you and follow along on your journey?
Yes, I would love them to watch my ridiculous videos. Some of my reels have no true relevance to permanent jewelry. Sometimes it's just for fun. But my handle on Instagram is GoldieLinks.pa. And that's on Facebook too. Like if you put facebook.com/GoldieLinks.pa. So those are the two primary like social media channels that I have, and that will give you hopefully all the information that you need. You can email me too. GoldieLinks.pa@gmail.com is my email. So like any inquiries, that's, inquiries about private parties, big events. If you're a business and you want to, collaborate, you can reach out to me that way via direct message or email.
Perfect. And I will put all those links down in the show notes for the listeners. You can check them out there. So before we close out, is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know?
No, I don't think so. It's honestly just like, I really truly, like, I know everybody says that you appreciate the support and like, it's, I don't take it for granted, but like, I really appreciate the support. It blows my mind. It's so funny. Like before every pop-up, I'm like, I'll tell Brandon, like, it's supposed to end at 4. Like, I don't know if it's going to be busy or not. Like, I'll let you know. And Brandon, like, of course it's going to be, like, it's going to be busy. You're at the point where, you're not really going to have a dud event at this point. Like, there's enough people that follow you that are going to find you.
Yeah.
So it's still like, I don't know. It hasn't like caught up to me yet that like, I'm not just a beginner anymore.
You're
like
there.
I'm not at my soft launch anymore.
There.
Yeah. So it is really fun. So I do really appreciate the loyalty and, just the business. Honestly, it's been really fun. It lets me do things for the community and, fun stuff for the family. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Courtney, anything else you'd like to add?
I mean, to go off of her point, we showed up to the pop-up that we had planned to go to. We knocked down the door because I had seen that there were lines like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I would have waited in it, but I wanted to be there. Yeah. So we were coming right at the beginning, and we shopped at the other vendors, but that's why we were there. So, I mean, I'm a testament to that.
You recommend it?
Oh, yes. I can't believe I got my first one in February and that it took me this long to get a second one. I think it's just having
you're a mom.
Parker.
That's
but
why.
Now,
Exactly.
now I'll get another one in December because we're going to that event.
Yep.
Yes. Allison Yeager, owner of GoldieLinks on the American Grown Podcast in the Colortech Creative Solutions studios. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
To see photos of today's guests and more content, just search American Grown Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review.
If you'd like to be a featured guest on the podcast, please direct message or email Austin at AmericanGrownPod@gmail.com.